They thought they could control us until Grandpa flipped a script with one shocking move. When the HOA patrol climbed over his fence again, he electrified it and sent them running. But that was just the beginning. What happens next will leave you speechless. Watch how one man's defiance sparked a neighborhood uprising that no one saw coming. Welcome, everyone. Before we dive into this epic story, I want to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below, and let's see how far this story travels. Now, grab some popcorn, because this one's going to get intense. The sun sets over a peaceful suburban neighborhood where everything seems picture perfect. Lush lawns, white picket fences, and perfectly manicured gardens line the streets. But underneath this serene image, tensions have been quietly building for years. At the heart of this neighborhood is Grandpa, a man who fought in wars, raised children, and lived through decades of change. Despite his age, Grandpa's fire hasn't dimmed. The Homeowners Association (HOA) has become increasingly overbearing in its pursuit of perfect conformity, issuing fines for the smallest infractions. A flower pot out of place, a fence too tall, or a tree growing just a little too wide. Grandpa's family has always been the target of these nitpicking patrols. This time, they've crossed a line. As the HOA patrol climbs over his fence again to inspect it, Grandpa knows something must change. It's not the first time the HOA has sent their patrol to inspect his property, but this time, something feels different. They've been too much in his business, too many rules, too much control. Grandpa watches from his rocking chair on the porch, a slight scowl on his face as he sees one of the patrol members climb over the wrought iron fence to get a closer look at the condition of his backyard. It's always the same routine. They show up uninvited, act like they own the place, and give him some ridiculous demand to meet. But this time, Grandpa's not just irritated, he's determined. He turns his eyes to the porch, his old eyes sparkling with a fierce resolve. Enough, he mutters, standing up from his chair, his hands tightening into fists. Enough of this nonsense. Grandpa has always been a resourceful man. Whether he's fixing a leaky roof or building a treehouse for his grandkids, he's never been one to shy away from a challenge. But today, he's not just fixing a broken pipe or a damaged fence. Today, he's taking matters into his own hands. As the patrol leaves, whispering among themselves, Grandpa heads straight for his old wooden shed at the back of the yard. It's filled with tools that haven't seen the light of day in years. Rusty nails, old drill bits, and thick electrical wires that Grandpa had stored away long ago. His grandkids, curious but wary, watch from the window. What's Grandpa up to this time? One of them asks. The others aren't sure. Grandpa's always been a little eccentric, but this feels different. Without saying a word, Grandpa pulls out the electric transformer he once used for a homemade greenhouse setup. Few long wires, and a pair of thick rubber gloves. He connects everything with precision, his movements steady as he works. He's got a plan, a big one. As he finishes wiring the electric current through the metal gate, he steps back and surveys his work. A small smile tugs at the corner of his mouth. The gate will be electrified, not enough to cause harm, but enough to send a serious message. This will make them think twice, he murmurs to himself. The next morning, like clockwork, the HOA patrol appears. They stroll up to the gate, confidently discussing the next property they'll inspect. Their leader, a man who spent too much time in an office and not enough time respecting others' boundaries, steps forward. He grabs the cold metal gate without hesitation, a confident smirk playing on his lips. But then, the unexpected happens. The second his hand touches the gate, a powerful shock races through his body, sending him stumbling backward, eyes wide with shock. The air is thick with the crackle of electricity. His colleague jumps back in alarm, unsure of what just happened. From his porch, Grandpa watches the entire scene unfold with quiet satisfaction. He doesn't laugh, doesn't mock. He simply watches, his heart pounding in his chest, as the patrol scrambles to make sense of what just occurred. The shock is enough to send them fleeing from the property in a dazed panic. Grandpa leans back in his chair, the faintest grin crossing his face. But as the patrol retreats, Grandpa knows this isn't the end. It's only just begun. The HOA, humiliated and furious, isn't ready to let this one go. They have a reputation to protect, and Grandpa's bold move has put a crack in their authority. A few days later, a formal letter arrives. It's a notice to appear at a meeting, one that Grandpa knows is designed to intimidate him, to make him apologize for his unlawful actions. But Grandpa isn't afraid of confrontation. He's lived a life full of battles, some fought with weapons, others with words. As the day of the meeting approaches, Grandpa stands firm in his resolve. He's not going to back down. Grandpa's children and neighbors, who have long kept their distance from the HOA's iron grip, begin to gather around him. They're inspired by his defiance, amazed by his willingness to stand up for what's right. Word of Grandpa's action spreads like wildfire through the neighborhood. Some cheer him on, others are hesitant, unsure if this is the kind of fight they want to get involved in. But the truth is, Grandpa has sparked something in the hearts of those who were once too afraid to speak up. They begin to find their voices, realizing that they don't have to live in fear of the HOA. The day before the meeting, something surprising happens. One of the HOA members, who witnessed the shock firsthand, quietly approaches Grandpa. This man, a quiet neighbor who has always followed the rules, confides in Grandpa. I didn't agree with what they did. I've never liked how they push people around, he admits. I didn't know what to do. Until now, he offers his support, pledging to help Grandpa with the fight. He's been silently against the HOA's overreach for years, but like many others, he feared the repercussions. Grandpa nods, accepting the ally with quiet grace. Sometimes all it takes is one person to start a change, Grandpa says, giving him a wise, knowing look. Together, they begin to prepare their case for the meeting, knowing it won't be easy, but feeling more powerful together. The day of the meeting arrives. It's tense. The HOA board sits at one end of the long table, their faces set in stone. Grandpa walks in with his new ally at his side, the weight of the room heavy around them. But Grandpa is unshaken. He speaks with a calm authority, his words deliberate but powerful. He doesn't need to shout or make threats. His wisdom and experience speak for themselves. One by one, the members of the HOA begin to look uncomfortable, their smug smiles fading as Grandpa outlines how their actions have hurt the community, how they've stifled individual rights for the sake of conformity. When it's over, the HOA has no choice but to back down. Grandpa's case is irrefutable. The board can no longer ignore the support from the community, from those who have rallied behind Grandpa's courage. The HOA is forced to revise its overbearing policies, and for the first time in years, the neighborhood breathes a collective sigh of relief. Grandpa's actions, though unconventional, have restored a sense of balance. As the community celebrates, Grandpa sits on his porch once more, his grandkids gathered around him. The electric shock to the gate wasn't just a jolt to the body. It was a jolt to the spirit of the entire neighborhood. Grandpa, with his quiet strength, has won, and the community, now united, has learned that standing up for what's right can make all the difference.